Hello everybody and welcome back to Borderlands 3. And in this video, we aren't doing Smash or Trash. This is a build video for my Ice Queen Phasecast Amara build. Now the whole point of this build is you use Phasecast and you use ice, or cryo I guess, and, you know, kill enemies. So, I mean, pretty straightforward there. So let's get into the video. But also, before I actually tell you about the builds, I just want to apologize to you guys that it's been a while that I posted videos. And the reasoning for that is because there was a problem, at least on console, that was happening. I think it was with the patch, that the game would stop and like freeze for like half a second, and then it would keep going. And that made it impossible for me to actually record videos in this game. So I couldn't record videos for you guys and post them because I didn't want you guys seeing the game like freeze for like half a second every like 5 seconds, or I guess not 5 seconds, but every like 10 seconds. It was just not fun to watch and just not entertaining, and it would have been really annoying. That's why I haven't posted anything, and I do really feel bad because I wanted to start doing more, and that kind of just got kind of like stuck because I couldn't literally do anything. And now it seems that the bug is gone, so now I can actually post videos. So, and I figured, what's the best way than to post a character build? So, here we are. So, this is the whole point of this is, again, using Phasecast, freezing enemies with, like, Frozen Heart, using the cryo damage from the purple tree, and that. So, we're going to go over the weapons and all the other stuff, and then we'll get into the build. So, first, weapons, just kind of like we're using is, like, general, like, any of the top tier weapons. You got DNA, crit, you know, the Bloodstar Beast and the Flipper and Plasma Coil and Monarch and stuff. I have a whole bunch of weapons on here that are for other characters. I just happened to pick them up, so ignore those. And then other weapons that are just generally decent. Hydro Frost is really good, especially if you're doing a cryo build. The Convergence, by the way, is fragging. I'd love to have a Phasecast anointment on this one, but yeah, this one's times 8. It is a lot of damage, even with the next 2 mags. Next 2 mags are also good in this build as well. The Hornet's great. The Gargoyle's awesome. Beacon's obviously amazing. Hellshock's still really good. Maggie's not terrible. Nighthawken's pretty good. Bloodstar Beast obviously is amazing. I just got the Jackhammer. Haven't tested that yet. And obviously Flipper is great. So yeah, I mean, pretty much a lot of things on this build. Trevenator's good. I haven't really used the Insider on here, but might be good. I picked it up. I think I used it like one time, and I was working on my build before that. Now I think I have a solid build down that I actually like, and it can do pretty much most everything in the game. And the Hellwalker is also amazing. So yeah, pretty much all these weapons, like you can really use like any like the good weapons that you can put like Phasecast anoints on, or next 2 mags, or consecutive hits. They're gonna be good. But you really want Phasecast anointments on here. I have the DNA with consecutive hits, create with Phasecast and all this stuff. So we'll go into all the weapons, pretty much straightforward. Bring anointments that you know that are good for Phasecasting or action skill and stuff, and bring weapons that are decent. Pretty straightforward. Important pieces to this build is the Frozen Heart, and you want the anointment of action skill start, activate all effects that trigger on Shield Break or Fill, and then, well, you let out a Cryo Nova, freezing enemies. Really decent. Also, you heal. Any grenade doesn't really matter. You can bring the piss grenade, whatever. I like to have radiation, but if you whatever you need, you know, you can have grenade throw, corrosive, incendiary, shock, whatever you want there. Icebreaker, any kind of icebreaker you want. I prefer the Icebreaker Victorious. Whatever you guys feel is good for your build. Whatever you really on the effects, you really want like cryo damage or something like that, or action skill cooldown rate, but I sadly don't have any of those. But I have Icebreaker Vigorous here. And then Phasecast, you really want the Phasecast here. It's the best one. Probably your best things to get is action skill damage and action skill cooldown rate, because your action skill is very important to this build. I do not have action skill damage, but hopefully sometime I'll find a cooldown rate one. Replacements again. Also, if you're going against enemies that are frozen, the problem with this build is against enemies that are resistant to cryo. My bad. Resistant to cryo. You can take off the Frozen Heart, put any shield on. I don't really have grid shields on this build, but you can put any shields on that do anything you want. You can put on a Pearl of Ineffable Knowledge instead of the Icebreaker, and you'll be fine. And then just switch off from cryo. So we'll get into the builds first. The purple tree is the smallest one here, so it's easy. We have 5 points in heavy rain. This is going to increase our projectile speed and splash damage. Projectile speed is like whatever, in some weapons you don't want that. Like the DNA, you really don't want it too much, but the DNA is so good that it doesn't really matter. But the splash damage is great because we're gonna like I think it works with your action skill. Don't like quote me on that, but I think it does. And then I mean any like splash weapons you're doing, it's great. I also have 3 out of 3 with Go with the Flow. Whenever Amara freezes an enemy, she gains movement speed and weapon damage. I mean, you gain 21% gun damage and 9% movement speed. It's pretty decent. And the whole point is to freeze enemies. And then obviously we have Cold Hearted. I really like. I wish this tree was a little bit better. I wish I had more healing, because healing is very important in this game. And if you don't have lifesteal, you're kind of like in a rut. Because I love the capstone of this. Next into the blue tree, I mean, this is pretty straightforward. I have 5 out of 5 and do harm because, I mean, you activate your stack, you get action skill damage. Amazing. I have 2 points in fast hands just to increase my weapon swap speed and reload speed. 1 point in violent tapestry just, you know, to get us down the tree pretty much. I have 3 out of 3 in transcend to give us the accuracy and critical hit damage. We want as much cooldown rate as we can get, so 5 out of 5 in restless. Sin is just really good. Just, you know, 1 point there. I have 1 point from rest just to give us a little bit increased fire rate and charge speed. It was mainly just to get us down to the tree. You could, if you wanted to, you could either take points from this or this, and put it in here, or take the point here and put it like in one of these or something. You know, it's up to you. I have 3 out of 3 in Laid Bare, just again more damage. Wrath, give us more damage, and it's the point. Remnant, 1 point Remnant because Remnant's amazing and really strong. And then Avatar is one of the best capstones in the game. Next we have in the Fire Fist of the Elements tree, here in the red one, I have 5 out of 5 in Anima, because status effect, deal increased damage, or just effect, really good. If we can freeze everything easier, it's great. Anima's just also like a whole bunch. We're also doing a whole bunch of other elemental damage. So Anima's just great. I have 1 point in Steady Hands. You can put more points in Steady Hands if you want to take less points from Anima and put it over here, or from Infusion, put it over here. It's great because increasing your weapon handling and accuracy is really good. We have 3 points in Infusion, just so our non-cryo weapons do cryo damage. So just we can, you know, cryo is very important. We have 5 out of 5 in Tempest. Just elemental damage is great because we want to do as much elemental damage as possible. So it's very good there. You could put some in Wildfire if you wanted, but I'm not a huge, it's like, you know, not in this build, it's not a big deal. And we're not doing melee. Dread is great because it gives you increased gun damage. So, I mean, we're not using Grasp, but this build could easily switch over to Grasp if you wanted to. But I'm not doing Grasp, like, I'm doing Phasecast for this. But you can easily switch over to Grasp if you needed to for, like, crowd control stuff. But just, again, increase gun damage. If you do Grasp. It was just 1 point too, to get down the tree. Like, we needed it to get down the tree. Because I would love to take this point and put it here, but actually maybe don't. But this actually isn't good at Phasecast, because by the way, I just realized this is Grasp. And normally, I play Grasp most of the time, so I just put this here. Anyway, take this point, put it wherever you want. You don't need it here. If you want to switch between Phasecast and Grasp, put it here. You know, you're perfectly fine. But don't pick up this unless if you're doing exclusively Phasecast, though. We have 3 out of 3 in Indiscriminate. Indiscriminate is amazing because your bullets will ricochet. Even if you don't have anyone grasped or whatever, you're still ricocheting a whole bunch, and they deal a whole bunch of damage, and it's crazy. It's really good. Just doing a whole bunch of damage. Deep Well just gives you more magazine size. Cather? I don't know how to pronounce this, but anyway, if you're just your elemental attunement on enemies just exploding and then triggering to other enemies is really good. You keep cryoing enemies is really strong. We have 1 point sustainment just to give us some lifesteal. You're doing so much damage that the life, like, you can have 1 point here. If you really wanted to, if you had the extra points, you can put 2 points in here, but I didn't. So again, I don't know how many points you need to move down, but if you can ignore Dread, put that extra point from Dread here or somewhere else I'm going to talk about in the green tree. But yeah, you know, sustainment's great. Here in the green tree, we do have 3 out of 3 in personal space. Just as the closer you are, the more damage you deal. It's a great skill. A lot of people like tend to put points in clarity, which I mean that's not a problem, right? You get some health regeneration, which is nice. I like it in root to rise, especially if I do have a lifesteal. If I have lifesteal, I like to put it into root to rise just to give me some more maximum health, which is really good. We have 2 points in Samsara. Whenever you deal damage to an enemy with your action skill, you add a stack of Samsara. For every stack of Samsara, Amara gains increased gun damage, health regeneration. So it's pretty good. And then arms deal, just increase your splash damage, which is really strong. So again, you want to do a whole bunch of splash damage with cryo, everything else, and just freeze everything. For this build, you're mostly going to use cold hearted, but if you're going against an enemy who is resistant to cryo, then you want to switch off of that. We do have Soul Sap again, just some more healing. You can put Stillness of Mind on. You could put Allure on. That's really the only thing. It's up to you. Whatever you feel is best for you as a player. And then obviously we're doing Reverberation. Just you know, you do bonus damage for every enemy it hits, so just a whole bunch of damage. So it's really good. That's the build. Now we'll just go ahead and put it into action. You know, you can use a lot of different weapons. You don't have to just use all the meta weapons, but let's get into it. I've been really enjoying this build. I was using it without going like all the way down the red tree, and I was like, I need a sustain. Like I couldn't sustain enough, especially against like enemies who were either one resistant to cryo, or they just couldn't be frozen. So as you can see, like the convergence is fragging. Even after a lot of nerfs, like a lot of like some like skills and stuff, like you don't really notice it here too much. This is gonna be a perfect example. This is a frost enemy, and there. It's just you still kill him. Like, you know, and you have indiscriminate where the bolts are ricocheting, so you're hitting multiple enemies with this like gun. It's crazy. And that's Remnant there. So that's the convergence. I want to show off the everyone knows how badass the Hellwalker is. Though if you were to go Hellwalker, I'd get consecutive hits or Phasecast, or 100% weapon damage, action skill in. I'd get those. Next 2 mags isn't terrible, but you're really not wanting that because again, it's 1-shot reload, so it's not the best. But I mean, it's still the Hellwalker is an amazing shotgun. So, and any like weapons, like vehicle weapons, are great on this because like your crowd control is not very. Your crowd control isn't crazy. There. And when you don't have your action skill up, you're kind of like in a position where you're just like, I really wish I had my action skill up. But once you get going and like you start like stacking and getting a whole bunch of damage going, you're like, let's just kill this fire dude. Easy. Alright, the crit's a little like strong, so let's use the Hydro Frost here. As you can see, the Hydro Frost is putting in work. This build's really good. I mean, I think a Phasecast for like general like game like is gonna do a lot better, but for bossing, Phasecast is a lot stronger. Period. But look at that. Just everything is just dying. Everything's frozen. And if your shield does break, you also let off a freeze nova. So it's not even like... Yeah, I mean... Okay. That's the problem with being in the water. When you freeze stuff. But Hydrofrost, the problem with the Hydrofrost is it runs out of ammo so quickly. That, like, it's just like... Hey! I have no ammo now. Same thing with the Gargoyle. I think, COV weapons just run out of ammo. Because you don't really just reload, and a lot of them consume a lot of ammo, at least the pistols. And so you're just like, I'm consuming all this ammo. And then it's like, hey. But I definitely really like this build. It's a lot more interesting than just like a phase grass build, which is like, has become like the all, like, best one with like all the nerfs to like fake grasping and stuff. Stormfront. So like all the nerfs like fake grasping is kind of like hard to just be like, yeah, phase grasp is still like the best one by hand, like hands down. And they recently buffed phase slam and phase cast, so they're better now. So let's see a little bit like mini boss to see how quickly this guy does. Pretty easily there. Pretty good. I like it. I like it. And you see, you just easily just kill him. Easy. Let's go fight Tron. After I get the iridium. You know, gotta prepare for the raid boss, right? I don't know how well this build's gonna do against the new raid boss when he comes out. I mean, if he can't be frozen, then you're losing a lot of damage. But I mean, against general things in the game, against normal bosses, it's fine. It can kill Wotan pretty easily. Look at this, like.
Fully energized.
That out of here. Get the overkill damage. Look at that. Easily, boom, one shot that guy. Yeah. I'm dead. Alright. It's a lot of fun. Oh, look at that. Look at that. No! My crit. There we go. Yeah, this crit. Just drop it. Easy. Look at that. Look at that, guys. Isn't this build fun? Now, I wanted to show you guys. I did this fight earlier, but I was testing this build out. And let's just put shock. Radiation's fine. We'll put on the pearl. And we'll say Tron is resistant to cryo. So, put a shot. There we go. Nothing cryo. Here we go. And that's the convergence. Pretty easy. See if we get any anything good. No, not really. So I mean, guys, that's the build. I mean, let me know what you guys think down in the comments. Leave a like if you like it. Um, I definitely find this build it's a lot of fun, and it's different than all the Phasecast builds out there. And you know, you'll see builds recently that come out and use the what is it? Deathless build. I'm not a fan of Deathless, as personally. I'm not a big fan of that build, but I think this one, it can get through most content in the game. It does pretty good at mobbing and bossing. It's pretty good. You just got to match your elements and just figure out kind of what you do there. But I think it's good. Test it out for yourself. See how you guys like it. And I'll see you guys in the next video. See ya.